Hi guys, welcome back to Infinite Possibilities, the podcast where we explore the lives of amazing people, their choices, challenges and opportunities. And today I have a very special guest, Leon.
Hey everyone, how are we going?
Yeah, thanks Leon for being on the podcast. I gave you really late notice, like less than 24 hours. So, yeah.
No, well, it was just exciting. It's great. Just, it's wonderful when somebody asks you, do you want to be on a podcast? I'm always up for new experiences, so it's always a lot of fun.
Yeah, and Leon loves talking, so you'll figure that out in a few seconds. Yeah, so Leon, what's your, 1 minute intro? What do you do and who are you?
So what do? I try to help people. So I'm a martial arts instructor. I also work in property maintenance. So I mow lawns and fix things in properties and stuff like that.
I didn't know that, so cool.
Yeah, I do all that sort of stuff. And we also, my partner and I, we run a online shopping business, which is a Korean-based company called Atomi, which is absolutely the best thing that I've ever done in my life. Seriously, for the simple thing to just go and you go to shop. It's just like going to the supermarket. I mean, yeah, sure, you don't have the same range, but they sell one toothbrush, one toothpaste, but it is the best quality that money can buy, and nobody compete with them. So that's why, and it's free to join, and there's no auto ship. There's none of the bad things associated with a multi-level marketing company, because you just buy when you want to buy something, and that's all it is. And if you want to get into it more like we have, the company gives you a commission. Yeah. So I only pay, I pay exactly what you would pay, and I don't ask you, oh, you need to get this, you need to get that. There's none of that. If you want to buy something, you buy something. If you don't, it's okay. It's your choice. So that's why it's, and they're already being copied. Companies are copying them straight away. So, which are great. And that's pretty much what I do. That's my 1 minute. We went over a little bit, but
Don't worry, I wasn't counting.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and we can talk a little bit about Atomi a bit later.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so we want to go right from the beginning. So Leon, what kind of kid were you like growing up?
I was pretty sick. I had a cold for like 16 years.
Wow.
So when I was born, I had an issue. When I was born, my throat used to stick together.
Oh.
So I couldn't breathe. So the doctor informed my mum that what I had to do was, she told her, boil meat, so it was soft, and so it didn't scratch my throat. So I never drank milk I may have suckled on my mum's boob. I don't know. She didn't actually tell me, but I know that I couldn't eat meat or anything. And I never found this out till I was like 30, 32, something like that.
Wow.
My mum never told me. But yeah, she used to cut up 1-inch chunks of meat and 2 fingers, push them down my throat.
Wow, until like what age are we talking?
Like 2 years old.
Oh, okay, yeah, you wouldn't remember anything.
No, I don't remember any of it, and it was just the reason she boiled it, so it was soft, so it never scratched my throat. Yeah. And so I was getting protein so that I could grow and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, and so that was that. The first thing I remember was going in when I was like nearly 5 years old, and I got my tonsils and adenoids out. I remember the mask coming over, the doctors all in masks and stuff, and the mask coming over my face for the anaesthetic. And I do remember things prior to that, because
wow, you have insane memory. I don't remember nothing.
And I remember catching fish with my grandmother, and that was triggered because I've seen old photos and stuff like that with my grandparents and my parents and things like that. So I remember there going to the Colo River and swimming and then going to Umina Beach and catching fish. And so I remember those sorts of things. But really, the first thing that I really remembered was, from my own memory, was the mask coming over my face. And I was just like, oh, wow, this is different. And yeah, pretty much. And then just hung out, normal kid. My mum just used to... I wanted to learn how to cook. I don't know. I just wanted to learn stuff.
Yeah,
and,
very curious kid.
Yeah, curious. So my grandfather on my mum's side was pretty... he made a violin. He made 2 violins.
Oh, he's cool.
Out of Australian silky oak. One's in the Powerhouse Museum because it's one of the first ever violins made in Australia by... Well, even though he was English... made in Australia out of Australian native timbers, and that's in the Powerhouse Museum. And the other one was he gave to a violinist at the Sydney Symphony Orchestra. So I don't know when that happened, but I know... But me and my sister, we can go to the Powerhouse, if we send them a letter and or an email, a letter. We send them an email and say we'd like to come and see it. Yeah, they'll dig it out because it's not on display at the moment. It's in storage. And yeah, but me and my sister are the only 2 people that are allowed to basically go and see it, unless they have it on display. You know.
That's insane.
Yeah, and
did you play violin growing up?
No.
What a waste.
was. Yeah, but my grandfather was pretty... he was good. He used to make model aeroplane engines.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, like a little engines this big.
Yeah.
And he would make everything. He'd make the pistons and the rods and everything, and he'd get them to fly and stuff like that. Like he was an engineer, but he was really clever. And so he had 2 lathes, and he used to I'd go into the shed on a Sunday when we go over for dinner when I was little, and he'd go sit in the corner, and I'd be like, what are you doing?
Don't touch
What are you
anything.
doing? Said, just wait, let me finish. And he'd be on the lathe doing some metal work or woodwork and stuff.
Did he ever teach you?
No.
Wow, this did not get passed down. Grandpa, excuse me.
Yeah, and he did let me get closer when I got a little bit older. But I remember, like, when I was 5, 6 and 7 and stuff like that, always really curious. He used to grow gladiolis and orchids in a glass house, and excuse me, I was always there. That's my plant thing. That's why. And so.
Did you want to be an engineer when you grew up?
No, I wanted to be a veterinarian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I really wanted to do when I was. I wanted to help animals. You know, I thought that was a really good thing because they can't really, if they get injured, they can't really help themselves. You know, and so yeah, I always thought, but I never really got good. I didn't really like school that much. You know, it was sort of like it was a bit of an issue, and so.
Which part of school didn't you like?
Maths.
Study. Oh, maths.
Maths. It was weird.
I didn't like maths too.
I love maths, but for some reason the teachers couldn't teach it to me, and it wasn't until I was doing my apprenticeship that I actually learnt how to do maths, because I made glasses and contact lenses, and so that's all sine and cosine and refractive index of glass and all that sort of stuff. So, and the first year I was just hopeless. I had to go take an extra class at TAFE to learn what I was learning, because after TAFE, like that was a night school, still at TAFE, but just to learn the maths. And then the next year we got another guy became the teacher, and and he could explain it, and I was just like, oh my God, all my prayers have been answered. So I didn't have to go to maths class ever again. He was just really switched on and really good, and he could explain it in really simple terms. So, and I understand, you know, whereas the other teachers, the older teachers, you just write it up on the board and go, there it is. And you just, that's just a bunch of numbers to me. What does it do? I don't understand. But, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Were there subjects that you enjoyed at school?
I love science.
Oh, wow.
Science and history.
Have a lot of maths? No.
Science.
It's very like logical thinking.
Yeah, like if there's fire and you put your finger on it, you're going to get burnt. So
yeah, you like it because it's practical.
Practical, yeah, and something's growing, you're making something, sort of thing. Whereas maths, you're working out an equation of some sorts, you know. That.
Yeah, it's a bit like, I guess, more abstract.
Yeah, probably. But we had a really good science teacher, so...
yeah, teachers help.
Yeah, so he
if
was...
you had a really good maths teacher, maybe...
Yes,
different.
exactly. Yeah, our maths teacher wasn't the best.
Well,
for me anyway.
Want to give him a shout out?
Pardon?
Do you remember his name? Want to give him a shout out?
My science teacher or my maths teacher?
Your maths teacher.
I have no idea. Couldn't tell you.
Do you remember your science teacher?
Yeah, he was European, so Strzelecki or so, I don't know. I forget. Yeah, it's been a long time. You know.
I put you on the spot. Just wanted to see.
No, I do remember my English teacher, Miss Langley.
Oh wow.
Of course, she was like 6'3", and she wasn't skinny, but she was very thin, but she was really elegant. So she always wore really, really nice clothes. She was always in a dress.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, she was just a really calm, nice teacher, you know. So yeah, she was really nice. I don't remember. That's probably the only teacher I remember at school. Apart from when I was in primary school, Mr. Edwards. He was my 5th class or year 5 teacher, and he was the PE teacher as well at primary school. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you told me you left school. So what happened at that time? You know, what made you decide to
leave school?
Yeah.
I left school because I just didn't want to be in school.
Sound like that rebel kid.
Well, because I was lucky because when I was like 14, because my dad had a bad car accident and was in hospital for quite a while. When he came out of hospital, my mum said I could go away surfing down the south coast of New South Wales. So I used to go down to Ulladulla every weekend for almost 2 years until I was nearly 16, and with guys that could drive down and stuff like that.
Because you were quite young at the time.
Yeah, I was only 14, and all these guys are 17 or more.
Yeah.
And here I was, you know, hanging out. But surfing down the south, and all my mates that surfed, they would go to Manly or Palm Beach, we used to catch the ferry to Manly and stuff like that, and we learned to surf in Manly, and but I was going down the south coast, so, and they just never got to go there. And I mean, I surfed fantastic waves and had really good, had a lot of fun, lots of experiences. Was taunted, bullied, but in a fun way. So it wasn't traumatic as such.
I hope so.
It was fine. And I used to go down with $5 and I would come home with change. So, and in that period, so that was my pocket money. My mum gave me $5 to be able to go down the coast.
Yeah.
And I would still pay for petrol. And eat, and had a lot of fun. Yeah. It was really good, really good. Damn. Some of the best times in my life, yeah. Oh yeah, it was wonderful surfing. Bawley Point, Ulladulla, golf course, Mollymook, Just really lots of good surfing spots around Ulladulla. If you ever get a chance, surf in Ulladulla. I know some of the guys that I used to surf with live in Ulladulla now, and not that I'm in contact with them, but
do you still surf today?
I'll still body surf.
Yeah.
But riding around on a surfboard, no. It was when I was nearly around late 30s. I sort of moved away from surfing. Because I found that I was always chasing the next wave. So, and I just made a conscious decision that I can still go. I surfed some of the best waves in my life, and I've had some fantastic experiences in surfing. But there was other things that I wanted to do, and so I'd still body surf and all that sort of stuff, and still swim in the ocean, but to go and get a board and run around and try and find the wave and no crowds, and I was just like, no, I just didn't want to deal with that stress anymore. So,
Fair enough. So tell me what happened. You left school, and then how did you sort of become an optical,
mechanic?
Optical mechanic.
My dad, basically, I left school and it was like the end of December.
Were you like 16?
Oh, beginning of December. Just turned 16.
Yeah.
And so I'd been sort of at home for about 6 weeks, just
bumming around.
Yes.
That's the word Leon used when we were discussing this. So.
I was. I was just bumming around.
Were you having a good time?
Was I having a good time? I always have a good time. Yeah, I was having a great time, and life was easy. There was no rent, and this was 1973 that I left school, and we got to middle of January, and my dad just said to me one day, he says, "You need to find a job, or we're not supporting you." Well, basically, you're not going to get supported here. So go and find a job so you can contribute as well. And I was like, okay, no worries. And I applied for 2 apprenticeships. One was a plumber, and one was an optical mechanic. And I just missed out on the plumbing apprenticeship. He rang me up the day. Well, like the next day after I'd applied for it.
Wow, this is a quick turnaround. That doesn't happen these days.
No.
For a job
Look.
2 months later, I get a phone call.
Yeah. Back then, in the 70s, pretty much, I've walked onto building sites and just picked up a shovel and started working, and the other guys are looking, and they go, "Who's this guy? What's he doing? He's on a shovel. He's digging a hole, whatever." And then the boss of the site came on and just went, "Can I help you?" And I went, "No, I can help you." So I'm just here. I want to work. I need some money. I'm out of work at the moment. Do you have a job available? And he went, "Sure, mate, no problem."
Wow, damn, you got some guts there, Leon.
Well, it was either that or starve. It was like I needed to work, and I was like, "What do I want to do?" Oh yeah, okay. There's a building site. I'm young, silly,
Silly, I believe.
Yeah. So, and I was only about 22, I suppose. Yeah. And I just picked up. I was living on the Northern Rivers. Not Northern Rivers. What do they call it? Northern New South Wales. Northern beaches of Sydney. So I was living at Collaroy, and I was working as a milkman with my mate. Wow. And his dad owned the milk run, but his dad didn't work in it, and so myself and Rick, it's a guy's house I used to live in, and so we started, and I just needed more money. It wasn't enough, just working as a milkman, and being a bum, basically. Well, we just surf every day, and you know, it was just you come home, finish the milk run in the morning, you'd be out in the surf for a few hours, come home, eat, and crash out, go out, party, whatever, and then get up at 4 o'clock and start doing the milk run again. And it was just like, we're doing the milk run in DY at that time, so yeah, it was a lot of fun, you know.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So I want to do a quick timeline of all the careers you've had. So first, optical mechanic. How long were you there, and you enjoy it or not enjoy it? Or?
Yeah, no, it was a great job. I tried to get back into it when I came back to Australia. I did it for 4 years, did my apprenticeship. I did 4 years, and then basically I wanted to go away overseas. So I spent a year in Asia surfing from Bali, Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, over to Sri Lanka, and pretty much back the same way. And
did your dad approve of this?
Oh, no one approved of this. Because back then there was no emails, no nothing, no phones.
Yeah, they must have been scared.
So it was just, what do they call it? Air mail. Yeah. You used to buy an envelope, and if you put post restaurant on it and you just send it to a post office, they'd hold it at the post office for you, and you could. So I would just go into the main post office. I think it was post restaurant, something like that anyway. And you just go in and say, oh, look, my name's such and such. You show them a passport, and they'd go and have a look through these bunch of letters. And so, because I had, in Singapore, was it in Singapore or was I in Bali? I think I sent my board from Bali. I sent it to Sri Lanka. And it was in Sri Lanka for, I don't know, 3 months and stuff like that, because it was really dusty when I just went to the main post office in Colombo, and yeah, sure enough, it was fine. It was they just stuck it on the side of the wall, and I just went and picked it up. It was in a board bag, but just a cloth one. It was just like terry toweling cloth. Damn. And so where were we? So yeah, then I went overseas, and then when I came back, I wasn't. So I came back to Australia and didn't have a job.
Why not go back to optical mechanics?
I tried. Sorry, good. Thank you for bringing me back on track. I tried to get back in, but a company that I worked for had merged with another company, and so there was an excess of mechanics or people working in the industry. And while my old bosses would they said, mate, we can't give you a job. There's nothing available. We've had to lay people off.
Oh, bad
so
timing.
Because that was a fairly big company, I was working for a smaller company, and even though they took over the bigger company, and it's just basically said, mate, there's nothing here at this stage. You know, see us in 6 months or something. And I was like, well, I can't wait 6 months.
Yeah.
So went for a trip up the north coast, came back, mate got a horse. That's what we went up the coast for, to get a horse. And then a friend, Rick, he said, Leon, come and work on the milk run with us. Yeah, sweet, no worries.
Got a job, done.
Done. So I started working on the milk run. And
so
then,
just milking cows, basically?
No,
What's
just...
milk
So like a milkman.
Yeah, so you're handing out the milk, delivering it.
Yeah. We used to deliver milk.
I literally thought you were milking cows.
No. We're delivering milk to houses and stuff all around DY and Collaroy, because we used to live on Collaroy, and right on the little headland just above the swimming pool. It's called Twite Reserve, and his parents owned a house on there, as well as the house that they lived in. And so we used to hang out there, and wake up to see the sun every morning. You know, it's the first thing you saw was the ocean. It was wonderful. And so did that, and then got a few jobs labouring and learned a few things, painting, labouring, surfing, just having a good time. And then I started.
When did you start martial arts?
I didn't start I started when I was sort of 10, 11. I learnt judo with my sister. Mum wanted us to learn something to be able to defend ourselves and stuff. And because it was only up the road from where we lived, about 600 metres, so we used to go up and learn in this old church hall. And so we learnt judo for nearly 4 years, I suppose. And then my dad, maybe 3.5 years, because my dad had a bad car accident, and then my mum just basically said, "You're the man of the house now, so I can't let you go and do any other things." So I used to play soccer as well, and so sort of sport got canned because I had to do other things. And in that time, while my dad was in hospital, my mum got me to paint the house.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I learnt a lot. She said, "This needs doing, you have to do it."
And first time painting?
First time, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, oh, well, not really, because my dad, on the week, my grandfather was a master painter. And so he used to make his own paint and all that. Yeah, he's very clever. And so I knew a little bit about paint, but I didn't make any paint. But on the weekends, when I was growing up, after I finished playing soccer, my dad would take me, he would do, we would put floors in houses and stuff, that new built houses. So we'd be on the floor, hammering nails in, and I'd learn a bit of painting, and do window trims and stuff like that. And we just got taught a lot of things when you're younger.
You're good with hands-on, right?
Yeah, hands-on stuff I love. Yeah. It's really, read it out of a book and then go and do it. Nah, not so good. You show me how to do it, and then, okay, and then I'll find a way to make it easier for myself. And, always trying to find a simpler way or a smoother way to do it, even still the same quality, but just try and find a better way to do stuff. It used to be fun. I mean, it still is, you know, but that's what I like to, I'd like to do that sort of stuff, Anyway, okay, so then I did
painting, and then
painting, working, and then a friend of mine basically said, Rick, he was living in Sawtell near Coffs Harbour in mid-North Coast, and because in that period I reconnected with some of my mates from school, and they'd started riding motorbikes, and we rode Ducatis, so I had 3 at that point in time. So I used to be able to ride a different bike to work every day. So that was good. And then Rick basically said, come up to Sawtell, come up for a holiday. And so I moved house basically on the back of my 900 Ducati and all my belongings and everything that I had, and rode up to the mid-North Coast of New South Wales and lived there for 30 years.
Wow, damn. It's kind of crazy, like, the kind of influence Rick has had on your life. It sounds like he's like, "Hey mate, good stuff here," and then you move and...
I just went up for a holiday, and then, it was good. And still surfing and doing all sorts of crazy things. And then finally... I moved up to Coffs Harbour and lived there for 30 years, and then met my wife, which ended up getting divorced, and had 2 daughters, but also met my own karate teacher. So I didn't know he was a karate teacher for like 18 months, and then one day, one of the other guys that worked there at the resort, we used to work at a resort called Nautilus, in Coffs Harbour, and he said, "Oh, Mark's going to teach a weapons class, a kabuto, which is weapons." And I went. It twigged my mind. I said, "What?" And he said, "Yeah, go down and have a talk." I said, "Can anybody do it?" And he said, "Yeah. Just go down and have a talk with him." And so I went and talked to Mark, and that's when that started in '83, I think, '81.
And that was the first time you started karate?
That was the first. I'd done a little bit of, the guys that I used to go down the coast with, I did a little bit of kung fu, and my cousin taught me a little bit of taekwondo.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just dabbled in it, and plus had done judo for a while, so I still knew all that sort of stuff. Yeah. But yeah, that was the first time I'd ever done karate.
Wow, what age were you at that time?
I was 32, I think.
Oh,
31,
that's pretty cool.
31, 32. And so I did weapons. So I couldn't do karate and weapons. I could only do one or the other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the only time, because my...
limited time.
Limited time. So, yeah. And then, girlfriend who became wife, and then children. And then, so did weapons, got a pretty much... You only have 3 grades in weapons. Yep. So you have junior instructor, and senior instructor.
Wow.
So
you went straight into teaching?
From weapons, no. Then I wanted to keep going because my instructor basically, nobody else really wanted to learn weapons as a straight weapons class. Yeah. So he incorporated that into his karate class. And so then I started learning karate, and then when I'd been doing about 18 months of that, because I used to live out of town, I asked him, I said, "Can I start teaching out of town at Sandy Beach Public School?" And so I started teaching karate there, and he said, I was only a green belt, so it's like 7th kick, so 3rd belt basically. Yeah. In a Japanese karate system, and so he said, "Look, it doesn't matter. They're beginners. It doesn't matter if you're already a black belt in weapons." Yeah. So he said, "And I know you, so I know, and you can only teach them what you know. So it's okay. You're only going to have new students." So it was quite easy, and as I got better, I would teach my students what I knew, and so I'm still teaching today. I just had, the end of last year, had my first 2 black belts grading in Brisbane. So yeah, even though I've graded black belts before and all that sort of stuff, purely from my students, not from my teachers, like, teachers dojo sort of thing. Yeah. So, and then, because I didn't move up here till 2016. Well, basically Brisbane 2016. Yeah. So, and...
also tell me about the competing days.
Competing days. Yeah. Well, I did a few tournaments when I was younger.
Some big tournaments.
Huh?
Some big tournaments.
I did. I did my first tournament when I was 12, and judo tournament. Yeah. And so in judo, you're not allowed to, if you get someone on the ground, they're not allowed to cross their legs behind your back. Yeah. Over there. So like scissor and squeeze you. Yeah. So they're not allowed, they can hold you, but they can't cross their ankles and start squeezing. And this guy started doing that, and I guess I got this guy down, and I looked at the referee, and then I looked at my instructor, and I'm like, what's going on? Yeah. He's not allowed to do this. I thought that was in the rules. And my instructor just pushed his arm forward, and I understood what he meant was just grab the edge of his jacket and just push it across his throat until he stops. Oh. So he basically, I choked him with his own jacket, and he sort of went a bit blue in the face, and but he didn't tap. So if he'd have tapped out, he would have surrendered. And then the referee stopped the bout, and I got disqualified because you're not allowed to choke somebody, and at the level that I was at. And,
you were 12, weren't you?
Yeah, I was 12, nearly 13, I suppose.
Yeah.
And so I choked him out, and then I sat down with my instructor, and next to him, I'm going, and I'm starting to complain. He says, don't worry about it. He says, next fight, he's not going to win his next fight. So he get knocked out too.
Yeah.
And sure enough, his next fight, he got knocked out as well. But my instructor said, look, that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. If for you to survive, sometimes you have to do something that's not that nice to someone else for you to survive.
Because was he really, I don't know, when he was scissoring you, it was very
it was
hard for you to breathe?
Yeah. He had, even though I was on top, he had the upper hand because I couldn't move anywhere because he was squeezing me, and I was sort of like, this is starting to hurt a little bit. And
you couldn't say, hey guys, this guy is doing something
well,
illegal.
I was pointing. I'm like, I've got him wrestling, and I'm like, I'm pointing and stuff like that. And the referee just, I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter. But then, so that's 1969, moving all the way to 2018. I went to World All Styles Championship over in Portugal, just in Casa del Reina, which is about 30 k's south of Nazaré, or the big surfing spot over in Portugal, where they surf the super 100-foot waves and stuff like that. I think Nazaré, I'm not sure what they call it, how it's pronounced. And so we're 5 of us, 7 of us all up, but there's 5 of us competing, and we end up with 5 gold medals, 4 silvers, and so we all entered 3 events, pretty much, and so I got a second place in weapons.
Woo!
And in traditional kata, which is what they call forms or whatever, it's just prearranged moves. At 6th or 7th, I wasn't quite sure. There was 15 of us in there, and I don't remember. It was just I checked, and but it was great. English guy won it, and he deserved to win it. He was really good in that. But it was great. And it was weird because they. One of the guys I competed with in the weapons, one of the judges came over and asked me and said, "You realise why he won and you didn't?" And I went, "I don't care." And I was like, second place. I'm good with that.
Good.
I'm cool with that, And he basically turned around and said that because he used a sai. He was doing sai, whereas I was using a bow, 6-foot staff, and he was using a sai, which is what they use. It's a long piece of steel with like a trident, so a bit of the long bit. Yeah. And he deserved to win it, as far as I'm concerned. It's like that was really good. That was really good, man. I was like stoked, and then the other people that were in it. But I was happy for him to win. But they come over and said to me, "You realise that his weapon was harder to use and all that sort of stuff?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm okay."
Okay.
I didn't worry me at all. And
how old were you when you competed?
The last one, that was 62, I think, 2018. Am I 62? What is it, 25? 5, 60.
You You were 60 when you competed.
Yeah. So, well, I'm 68 this year. So, yeah. That 60, 61, something like that anyway.
Wow.
Yeah.
In that World Championship you were.
Yeah. And
wow,
there was because everybody was under 35 that I competed against.
Wow, that's impressive.
No one was they were looking at me going, "Who's this old fart?" You know, like.
But that's kind of cool. It never stopped you, huh?
No, it was just it's a bit of fun, you know.
Yeah.
It's just go out and enjoy yourself. I mean, it was wonderful because it was over 5 days. Like, it was a massive.
Yeah.
So it was. So in this hall that they have I think they have 7 full-size basketball courts in this one big building.
Wow.
And there's a big stage at one end as well. But it was amazing. There was guys with like medieval knights competing, and it was full on.
Yeah.
It's like swinging swords at each other and hitting themselves, and they were massively padded. We talked to 2 French guys that were twins, and they were in their like 40s or 50s, and we were just blown away by it. I was like, wow, that's really, and they were full on. He said, yeah, you got about 45 pounds on you. So 20 odd kilos, you carry an extra 20 kilos of stuff.
Wow.
And then trying to swing a sword and stuff like that. And a big broadsword like that, 6 foot long and stuff like that. Yeah. It was weird. Yeah, it was really good. A lot of fun. So that was my trip to Portugal. I spent nearly 24 hours I think we spent 8 days there. And the competition was over 5 days. So we didn't really, had a little bit of a look around Portugal, well, Casa del Reina. That was about the only place we had a look at, and didn't go anywhere.
Any serious injuries from competing?
No, I've never had any serious injuries. I've had a bit of bruising, but that's about it, really. Yeah. You're not trying to go out and take someone's head off, you know. Those, you know, they still do that sort of thing. If you want to get into that, yeah, good luck to you. But you know, I like my head where it is. You know,
better intact.
That's it. And you go to enjoy yourself. You know, punching each other out it's not my idea of fun. You know, I'll leave that to those people. They can enjoy that. You know, if that's what they want to do.
Yeah, and in terms of martial arts, like, have you ever had to, I don't know, use it like on the streets, like?
Only, well, say maybe 3 times.
Wow, any good stories?
No, I did lose a good friend over once. What I thought was a school friend. All of a sudden, was right when I was nearly leaving school, just before we were leaving school, when I was leaving school anyway. And I was at a friend's place, and we're playing ping pong, which we used to do quite regularly. And he just started getting aggressive, and I'm like, what's going on? What are you doing? I don't understand. And he started pushing me a little bit, and I picked him up and drove him into the ground. And I just used a judo throw on him because he started to get a bit aggressive, but I forcibly hit him into the ground, and I knocked the wind out of him. So
unconscious?
Yeah, he's still conscious, but he couldn't breathe. Like he's and I was like, mate, I don't know what you're into, but see you later. That's the last time I think I might have seen him once after that, and never really. See you later, sunshine, you know, like, you know.
Wow, so there you go, don't mess with Leon.
No, it's easier to walk away with your ego intact and let somebody else's ego go for it. And it's, you know, I get into trouble if I hurt someone. Yeah. You know, the only time I ever do anything like that is if somebody's getting hurt, and then I will, definitely step in, and and help people. Nobody needs to be in that situation, and where somebody's being aggressive, and then it's up to you to not be aggressive back. Restrain them, and then just hold them, and until either they calm down or authorities arrive. But basically, I've been in that situation where I've had to restrain some people at different times. Somebody that had gone off their medication with schizophrenia, and that was pretty outrageous. I didn't really want to do anything, but I ended up having to do something. So I was trying not to do anything that I possibly, but he'd lost it completely, and that was at a Vipassana course. Oh yeah, I really felt sorry for the guy.
Was this after the 10 days when you could talk?
This was getting metta.
Oh, okay.
If you don't know what that is, Vipassana is a 10-day meditation. That's a silent retreat, and it takes basically 10 days to learn it. And right at the end, they do this other thing to sort of heal all the wounds that have been opened within your body. Not that you... it's a mental wound, okay? So to soothe that, so you can bring you back out into the real world again of speaking. Because when you stop talking for 10 days, there is quite a lot of stuff goes on within your head, and there's a lot of stuff goes on. And to heal the wound, they teach you another little technique, and it's basically loving kindness. So be kind, love yourself, be kind to yourself, and it was. He walked out when that was happening, and he'd been off his medication for the whole 10 days, and while he was sharing a room with another guy, and he was talking to the other guy, and the other guy, because it was his first time he'd ever done it, he didn't bother to tell the teacher, and which is unfortunate, and because then it could have nullified, and we could have helped him before he lost the plot. But after it had happened, he sent letters back and stuff like after, and the ambos had to give him 2 shots to calm him down. Like, they gave him 1 shot. They said this normally knocks out an elephant, and this guy was just like, no, I'm wired to the max, and he's a security guard, and he was fairly 6 foot, he's pretty solid, 80, 90 kilos, strong. She was a strong dude, put it that way. And he's had 4 of us holding him down. Yeah, and we were holding him down. Like, I can tell you, we're holding him down. And the ambos came, they gave him a shot, and it was just like, and the ambos looked at his eyes, they waited a couple of minutes, and we're still holding him. And one guy says to the other, says, nah, give me another one. And then he'd sort of, then you saw him just relax, his whole body relaxed after that. And now they're able to take him away and look after him. And but he sent letters back afterwards to say he apologised and stuff like that. He was trying to heal himself by coming off his medication, but it wasn't the place to do it. Yeah. But full credit to him. He lasted 9 days without. That's
impressive.
Yeah.
And he almost made it through.
Yeah, he almost.
That tiny bit.
Tiny little bit, and I hope he's okay now. If he's still on medication, I hope he's okay.
Yeah. Were you a teacher at that time?
Was I a teacher? I'm only.
Oh, you were just another guy sitting in the course.
No, I'm just another guy sitting in the course.
Oh wow, that's insane.
But I was a volunteer at the course at the time, so
okay.
I spent 18 months as a volunteer at the centre.
Wow, doing it full time.
Well, full time at the course, you get 3 days off every fortnight, basically. Yeah. So either you leave and go away and learn about the real world again, because it's very easy to stay in a very peaceful
and keep your peace
and harmonious environment, and not deal with the real world. But yeah, you've got to deal with the real world. It's there. So that was a wonderful experience. It was my chance to give back to all the people that have helped me, as basically when I was growing up, and teachers that I've worked with in my martial arts and my work life and all those sorts of things. So I just thought, oh yeah, this is something that I can give back. You know, I was sort of a bit lost at that time when I went up there, and I didn't know I could do it. So because I just split up from a partner, and really threw me. Sort of like I had no idea it was right out of left field. So it was just, but it's life, you know. It's good.
Yeah. And what did Vipassana teach you? Because you're like so dedicated to it now. You're like volunteering, you teach and whatnot.
So I only teach children. So I don't teach adults. You need to go and do a Vipassana course, okay? I tell you now, if you have the conviction to want to be, it will change your life. Really seriously change your life, if you're ready for it. But it's hard. So it's 10 days of nada. Do you think yourself you're in a cave? And that's about it. You'll get fed, you get a bed to sleep in, you learn the technique. So head down, because everything's a distraction. Every time you turn your head, your eyes are adjusting to something else, and you're distracted from what is. And it's a wonderful practice to do. What was the question?
I was gonna say.
I got a bit lost. Got sidetracked.
What did you learn, and how did it change you? Maybe.
How did it change me? It learned. I learned to be a lot more calmer and less reactive, and just accept people for who they are. And that, I suppose that's probably the biggest thing, thinking about it, because nobody's ever asked me that question.
Oh, wow.
So nobody's ever, and what did you get out of it? So acceptance of others. So, because we all have shortcomings, you know. None of us are perfect. Otherwise we wouldn't be here, you know. And just to accept people as they are, and we have no idea. We don't think in their mind. We don't know what's going on in their head, the environment that they grew up in, and whatever they had. So, just acceptance really of everybody and everything that's around you, and enjoy. Just enjoy it. I mean, you only get one shot, so as long as you don't, be kind. Really be kind to people, because you don't know what their story is. So, and that's really helpful, you know. Just love everyone, because we're all in this mess together. So we might as well make it a better mess than what it is at the moment. That's about it, you know. Yeah, that's what I think. Anyway.
Beautiful message. Yeah. So we're nearly at the end of the podcast. Just a few more quick questions.
Yeah, go for it.
So I remember at the very beginning you were preaching about atomy. So maybe we'll do a quick one. Okay. How'd you get into it?
My partner had a bad car accident, and a lady came with a ethereal oil patch. So it's only got 4 oils in it, and it's not a medical patch or anything like that. And she was a medical doctor. So acupuncture, chiropractor, physio, all these things, and she has a massive amount of patches at home. We have a big stack, because she'd only just come back from overseas and bought all these patches for this ailment and that ailment, and they're still in the drawers now after 8 years, I suppose. 2018, it happened in the middle of the year, and we're working at a community garden. So was doing that, and this lady came up that we knew, and she brought this other lady, and she said, "Oh, try this," and put this patch on her neck, and then gave her a couple of others, and then woke up the next morning. It's like only takes 4 hours for the patch to work, and then you can take it off, and then did that. That was like lunchtime. Put another patch on before she went to bed. Woke up in the morning, gone.
Wow.
Just move ahead, no pain, everything was just back to fine. She had a little ganglion on her wrist, and it disappeared. So, because she couldn't do any yoga, she couldn't bend her wrist because there was a little, like a pea lump in between on her wrist, and she put part of the patch over that, and that disappeared. And ever since then, we've just been doing Atomi. Then she went down. She wanted to know more because she was amazed. Yeah. She went to the grand opening in Sydney, in Melbourne, 2018, and ever since then we've been doing Atomi. The best thing. The best thing. Really, really high quality. It's a supermarket. Everybody goes shopping, but we want the best quality at an absolute price. And that's their motto, absolute quality at an absolute price. And that's what they do. And they're really, really good. And if you need any help, contact me. I mean, I'll steer you in the right direction. Because it really is. I've seen my wife just basically lose 10 years with one system's a de-aging, and so basically you'll end up looking younger. You use the same product and they all complement each other, and she saves lots of money. My God. Oh, she would spend $200 on a toner. Wow. $200, $250, like SK Lauder, SK2, Estee Lauder, whatever. And now she pays $60 and it's better than them.
Damn, that's crazy.
So we're all for it. It's good. You know?
Sounds good. The next question, random, but if you won the lottery tomorrow, what would you do differently about your life?
Ooh. If I won the lottery tomorrow, I would... What would I do different? Ooh, good question. I would set up my life so that I could serve people better. That's basically... It'd make it easier for me to live and survive. And not that I would want lots of staff, but being able to help other people achieve greatness is probably what I would do.
Wow. And next question, what is advice to your younger self? I know we're jumping around a little bit.
No, it's okay.
Hitting the hard ones at the end. Yeah.
Advice to younger self. I wish I'd have known some of this stuff earlier.
Which bits?
I wish I'd have known Vipassana earlier. Really, even though I meditated when I was young, so I knew about meditation when I was like 9, and I used to do TM, Transcendental Meditation, and the martial arts has meditation in it and things like that. And I've explored a few other things, but if I'd have known about Vipassana meditation, I find is so simple, and it's simple to do, it's hard to do.
Yeah.
But if you work at it, it's like everything. You work at life, you get better at life, simply. Just probably not be as angry.
Yeah. More peace.
More peace, yeah. Just driving's my frustration.
What's the road rage?
Yeah, internal road rage. Yeah, it's internal because I rage with myself because the other person doesn't know that I'm going, why don't you just turn? You know, you didn't indicate. That's a bugbear for me because in Queensland, it's a thing. You need to let people know what's going on. If they're in a situation, yeah, sure, the road goes this way, but you might want to go straight ahead.
Yeah.
And
communication.
Communication is the key. Yeah, so communicate better with people.
Yeah.
But yeah, road rage is yeah. I'm dealing with it. I'm learning to get a lot better. My wife my partner, she just says, they can't hear you.
Yeah.
She sits there and I really don't want to hear you.
Yeah.
Going, just turn, put your foot down. It's I saw a funny comic the other on a show and stuff like that, and he basically said, you watch, if Australians have to wait more than 3 seconds, it's like, come on, and it's so true. Because one of the guys I work with, he does it the same straight away. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
And I go, and I'm telling him, because I'm sitting in the passenger seat, going, it's all right, mate. He's just where he's at. I'm doing that, and then you put me behind the wheel, and I'm going, come on, hurry up.
Yeah.
I'm maybe not as aggressive as he is, but I'm still do it. But yeah, it's quite funny. But,
tables have turned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
the final question: what's the meaning of life to you, Leon?
Oh, meaning of life. To grow and better serve mankind. Because we're all here, we're all the same. We all bend over, our legs bend the same way. If they don't, then you're not from this planet. And we just need to get along, be kind to each other. It's crazy. And we need to be kind to ourselves first.
Yeah.
And then if we're kind to ourselves and don't put ourselves down or do anything that's untoward to ourselves, because we bully ourselves, we do so many things to hurt ourselves, to justify why we made a mistake. It's just a learning. Just learn.
Forgive yourself.
Yeah, forgive yourself, and don't take it out on yourself. It's just there's plenty of other people out there that will put you down. So don't put yourself down. Stand up, chin up, and go, I learned a lesson. That's it. Life's just a bunch of lessons that we have to learn to move to whatever the next life is. Who knows? I don't know. Anybody that's come back and they all say there's a big white light. Well, who knows,
Yeah.
Whatever. We're all just a bunch of energy just floating around. They've already proved it. Quantum energy. I know anybody that thinks that a wall's a wall and a desk's a desk and stuff like that, it's just a bunch of atoms banging together, making a shape. That's it. That's all it is. Same with us. We're just a bunch of...
Don't take life too seriously.
Yeah, don't sweat the small stuff, because it's all small stuff, know.
Sounds good. Well, that's a great spot to end the podcast. Thank you so much for being a guest.
Thanks, Karen. It's been wonderful. It's it's fun. Bit of fun. You learn a lot about me.
I definitely did. Want to say bye to the podcast?
Thanks, everyone. I hope you got something out of it, and have a great life. Sweet.
Bye.